I already had the safe open and half the pistols out on the bench in my garage here in Texas. And it hit me how easy it has gotten to own good guns that still don't feel right. A couple of Saturdays back, I was headed to the range, standing at the door with my belt in my hand, and I caught myself swapping pistols like I was changing my mind on a bad decision. Nothing had failed. It just didn't feel settled. And that bothered me because that's the exact moment your safe is supposed to solve. So I stopped rotating. I started paying attention to the ones that stayed calm when I was tired, rushed, and already irritated. Not the ones that looked good, the ones that didn't make me negotiate with myself. And one of these, something got exposed when I was in no mood for it. That's why the last spot on this list ended up where it did. Last month, I pulled the FN509 CC Edge out of my safe with a bad feeling already sitting on my chest. I didn't fully trust it. That was why I grabbed it. If it was going to slip, I wanted it to slip at the range, not later when it actually mattered. There was a guy on the line, and everything out of his mouth sounded like a lecture. I hated that I cared. I hated that part of me wanted to prove something instead of just shoot. I hadn't cleaned the 509. I'd left it that way on purpose. I loaded up expecting it to give me a reason to regret bringing it. First draw felt normal. That surprised me. His gun started acting up. Enough to stall him, enough to turn his confidence into excuses. And I still waited for my FN to do something stupid right after, but it didn't. The 509 CC Edge stayed boring. It just kept cycling while the noise around me got loud. I went home, opened the safe, and locked it back in. One thing about it still annoys me every time I pick it up, just to see if that annoyance ever turns into a reason to pull it out for good. And the next one didn't earn that kind of trust right away. Last Tuesday morning, I already had coffee, keys in my hand, and the safe cracked open like I'd done it 1,000 times. Glock 19. Gen 5 sat there in its usual spot, looking like a decision that didn't need thinking. I grabbed it on autopilot, slid it into the holster, and I still felt that quiet comfort, like the day was already handled. At the range later, I put a timer on the bench, just to keep myself honest. First beep, first draw, and my grip came in lazy. Not missed the gun, sloppy. Just sloppy enough that I felt it in my hands before I saw it on paper. The Glock hadn't done anything wrong. That was the part that stung. It had run like it always does. It didn't save me. It just didn't stack on top of my mistake. I stopped, reset, and ran it again slower than I wanted to admit. Same gun, different me. That's when it hit me how dangerous default can get. I got home that night and the safe sat open for a minute with that Glock slot empty. Not because it got kicked out, because I didn't like what it let me get away with. I had eyes without a face playing, and my eyes landed on the Beretta PX4 Storm way in the back, like it had been punished. Dust on the case, no fresh fingerprints. And I caught myself thinking the same ugly thing a lot of guys won't admit. Why am I giving safe space to a gun I don't even reach for? So I grabbed it to prove myself right. I wanted one clean reason to keep it buried. First draw felt off. The grip sat in my hand like it wasn't trying to win me over. The recoil didn't snap the way I expected either. That's when I felt it, that stupid bias. If it's weird, it must be bad. I started running it faster, waiting for it to punish me for ignoring it. It didn't. The PX4 didn't charm me. It didn't save me. It just didn't make my mistakes worse. It kept coming back to the same place, like it didn't care whether I respected it or not. And I hated the thought that followed. How many guns have I buried in my safe just because I was too stubborn to learn them? I didn't slide it back into that forgotten spot. I left it out. And that was the problem. I didn't trust it, but I couldn't bury it again. The next gun didn't give me that option. I carried the M&P9 2.0 full size on a day I had no business being that confident. Not because the day felt dangerous, because my head was already loud and I could feel myself trying to move faster than I was thinking. At the range, I ran it like I was just checking a box. No timer hero stuff. Oh, just a few quick strings, then a reload, then another. And that's where it showed up. Not a malfunction, Not even a problem. Just that moment where you realize you're handling the gun, like you're entitled to clean reps. The M&P didn't punish me for it. That's what got under my skin. It stayed flat, stayed predictable, kept printing the same truth on the target while my hands were getting sloppy. It felt like the gun was letting me skate. I drove home more irritated at myself than the gun. I didn't pull the safe open to admire anything. I changed one rule. Nothing gets the easy slot just because I'm used to it. And number one, I thought it was going to be the same kind of steady. It wasn't. It stayed calm in a moment that would have made me do something stupid. And I still haven't told that story without feeling a little exposed. I stopped at a little shop outside Dallas because I needed one dumb thing and didn't feel like making another trip in and out. Nothing special. I had my SIG P365 X Macro on me, like always, and I wasn't thinking about it. It was just there. Then it went ugly, somebody's voice went sharp, somebody answered louder, chairs scraped, and the whole place felt like it had one bad move left. Not cinematic, just real. My head got loud in the worst way. Not bravery, not strategy, just that raw awareness where you don't like any of your options. My hand didn't do anything heroic, just found the macro and stayed there. And I hated what that showed me because I could feel myself wanting to do something stupid just to feel in control. Move too fast. Say something. Step the wrong way. My eyes snapped to the locker behind the counter, and I saw the shape of a pistol case inside it. For half a second, it looked comforting, then it hit me. A gun you can't get to isn't doing anything for you. The only thing that mattered was what I could actually trust in my hands right then. The X Macro stayed boring. I got home and opened my safe. It hadn't been cleaned in months, and I didn't question it once. I was in an indoor range lane, and my buddy had that "let's make this a show" energy. Not mean, just loud. He kept talking like every string had to prove something. Like if it wasn't fast or flashy, it didn't count. He wanted a bet, little challenge, speeded up reps, talking over the muffs, trying to pull me into it, and I could feel that stupid part of me waking up, the part that wants to perform instead of just shoot clean. I didn't grab something cool for that. I ran the CZ P10F because it's the opposite of a performance gun. It's plain. It's honest. It doesn't give you a spotlight. It just sits in your hands and lets you do the work without drama. And standing there, I caught myself thinking something I didn't like. How many guys chase a louder gun because they don't trust their hands to be enough? I ran the reps clean, boring, and consistent. No flex, no speech. The CC didn't make me look special. It just kept the ego moment from turning into a mistake. Back at home, the safe got one quiet change. Anything that makes me want to prove it gets pushed back. The CZ stays where I can reach it. I still don't love how easy it is to get baited. That's why number one stayed put. It didn't win because it's famous or trendy. It won because in a real moment, it stayed boring while my head tried to get loud. That's the whole point of a right now safe gun. When you're tired, rushed, or irritated, it still feels certain. Here are the only questions that matter. Has it ever made you pause? Has it still felt right after a hard range day? Not a perfect one. Has it stayed consistent when you pushed speed? Not when you slowed everything down to look good? Drop your 5 in the comments and tell me the one pistol you've already kicked out of your safe, or the one you should have kicked out but didn't. I've still got one that's on probation, and I don't love why. I'm Steve.